The recording device whirred to life in Commander Voss's trembling hand. Blood streaked his once pristine exosuit, only some of it his own. His breathing came in ragged gasps as he ducked beneath the twisted wreckage of what had been their primary shuttle. This will serve as the final log of Galactic Exploration Team Delta 7, he rasped. I am Lieutenant Commander James Voss of the Terran Alliance. I am the only survivor. 3 standard days earlier, the GCS Horizon had entered orbit around XC 2187, designated a Class 13 Deathworld by preliminary drone scans. The Galactic Council had sent 23 of their finest soldiers and scientists, representing 17 different species from across the known galaxy, to assess the habitability of this mysterious planet. Only Commander Voss remained. The Yo team had deployed with confidence. After all, they represented the pinnacle of galactic achievement. Beings from worlds that had mastered faster-than-light travel, created synthetic consciousness, and colonized hundreds of worlds across dozens of star systems. Their first indication that XC 2187 was unlike any world they'd encountered came during atmospheric entry. The planet's magnetic field disrupted their navigation systems, forcing a manual landing that scattered their 3 shuttles across 50 kilometers of dense, violet-hued jungle. The Council called this a Class 13 because of the atmospheric toxicity and extreme gravitational fluctuations. Voss continued into the recorder. They were wrong. Those aren't what make this planet deadly. The scattered team had regrouped at the primary landing site within hours. That's when the first attack came. Lieutenant Drav, an 8-limbed Palaxian renowned for his reflexes, was simply gone. One moment he stood at the perimeter, the next only a dark stain remained where he'd been. The indigenous predators don't register on our scanners, Voss explained, his voice hollow. They exist partially out of phase with standard matter. We can't see them until they decide to fully materialize, usually when they're already attacking. By the first nightfall, 5 more team members had vanished. The remaining 17 huddled in a makeshift bunker, weapons trained outward in all directions. Professor Lin, the Arcturian xenobiologist, theorized that the predators were sensitive to electrical impulses, particularly brain activity. The more intelligent the prey, the more enticing the target, Voss muttered. That's why they came for us, that's why they ignored the simpler organisms. The second day brought a new horror. The territorial boundaries between different predator species erupted into war zones. Suddenly visible, crystalline behemoths tore through the jungle canopy, while shadow-like entities swarmed between the trees. Caught in the middle, the exploration team attempted a desperate sprint to the secondary landing site where a functional shuttle might still exist. They lost 8 more during that run. Officer Tan sacrificed himself, Voss said, his voice breaking. He realized they were tracking our thought patterns and deliberately generated complex mathematical calculations to draw them away from the rest of us. By the 3rd day, only Voss and 2 others remained. Dr. Kell, a Cyrontian quantum physicist, and Major Reed, another human. They reached the secondary site to find their shuttle intact, but surrounded by what appeared to be semi-sentient fungi that had already begun deconstructing the vessel's hull. Reed died getting us into the shuttle, Voss continued. The fungi, they released spores. Reed inhaled them before he could seal his helmet. The spores, they grew inside him. I've never heard anyone scream like that. Dr. Kell managed to pilot the damaged shuttle toward the emergency extraction coordinates, but the vessel's compromised hull gave way during ascent. As the cabin depressurized, Kell used the last of her strength to push Voss into the only functioning escape pod. I watched her die as the pod ejected, he whispered. She was still working the navigation controls as the vacuum took her. The escape pod crashed back to the surface kilometers from where it had launched. Now, huddled beneath its wreckage, Voss prepared his final message. The Council must understand, XC 2187 isn't simply dangerous, it's intelligent. The entire ecosystem functions as a unified defense mechanism against invasive species. Every organism here has evolved not just to survive but to eliminate threats. He paused, hearing something slithering across the pod's exterior. There's one critical discovery the team made before we were lost. The preliminary scans missed it entirely. XC2187 shows evidence of massive engineering at a planetary scale. This isn't a natural world, it's a constructed one. The slithering grew louder. I'm transmitting this log along with all our collected data to the orbiting satellite. To whoever receives this, do not send another team. Quarantine this entire system. As the transmission completed, Voss set down the recorder and drew his sidearm. The metal of the pod began to ripple as though becoming liquid. One last thing, he said, almost conversationally. We humans evolved on a Class 10 Deathworld ourselves. That's why I'm the last one standing. He stood, weapon ready, a strange smile crossing his face. But even Earth has nothing on this place. The pod's wall dissolved, and darkness flooded in.